What's up, guys? So I thought I would share with you my current go-to look that I've been wearing to work. I'm gonna start off with the Milani SPF BFF SPF 30 primer. I've already done my skincare. I'm actually working from home today, but I'm just doing it as if I was going to work. I just have more time this way. So we have some primer here. Normally my eyebrows is one of the last things that I do, but I was coming on camera and I wanted to film that part for a different video, so my brows are actually already done. I wanted to, reapply some SPF because it's now halfway throughout my day. Did my skincare a little bit earlier after my shower and everything. Make sure you get your ears with your SPF, and I always just rub in whatever's left over on my hands. Being that in the morning times, I'm usually in a rush when I'm doing my makeup, and SPF leaves such a glowy, glowy base, especially when I usually use my Tula skincare. When I'm going outside, this is my heavy hitter right now. I'm just going in with the Milani, like I said, as a touch-up right now. I normally would set that Tula Protect and Glow sunscreen. I would normally go in with the Tatcha Silk Powder. Some of you may remember I got this Tatcha powder in my, I did a short, the Trend Mode box. I had got the Tatcha powder in, and I tried to use it all over my face after I did my makeup, and I didn't like it that way, so I started using it just to set any SPF that I have. So I'm just taking this Real Techniques powder brush, and I'm just gonna make sure that it's all evenly distributed, and then just go ahead and apply it. I don't know if you have to see that it does leave a radiance, but you can also tell that that product is set. I don't know how to describe it. Like, you still see the radiance, but it's not as wet. Just making sure that my SPF is nicely set in, and then it helps me. It makes me also feel better that I don't reapply my SPF when I'm outside. But I'm not outside. I'm going to work. I'm usually in my car, into the office, back in my car, back home. Besides picking up and dropping off the kids to camp, so that's that. Now in this video you will see a lot of the Shop My Stash products, only because that's what I've been doing. I've been using products for my Shop My Stash. So with that being said, I'm gonna take my Fenty cream bronzer here. This Fenty cream bronzer, by the way, over the weekend I tried the Danessa Myricks one. So good, really good. But I'm gonna go ahead and stick with my Shop My Stash products and take this on a Real Techniques buffing brush, and I'm just gonna apply this here. No, I don't do this every time I'm going to work, but some days I do, and then also I want to use as much products from the Shop My Stash as possible anyway. And I am using all natural lighting. I don't have my ring light on or nothing, so hopefully you can see what's going on. I just wanted to give you like a better idea, more realistic makeup and how it looks without all the studio lights and everything. I'm going to put some of this bronzer into my crease here as well, because I don't usually do eyeshadow when I'm going to work, but I do add some color, and I'll show you how a little bit later. Now while the cream bronzer and everything is something that I can skip, I can never skip concealer, so that is usually my next step. The concealers from my Shop My Stash, well, this is probably more like a Shop My Stash update as well, because I've added stuff into my bag here. I've been keeping all my Shop My Stash products in here, and I did add stuff. So these two concealers is what I added. I want to use these up. So this one here is the Hourglass Vanish Concealer, and I think I have mine in the shade Velvet. For some reason the wording never seemed to match what it is, but that's what it says. And then I also have the Fenty Pro Filtr Concealer, and mine is in the shade 385. So both of these are basically almost done. I'm pretty far along with both of these concealers, so that's why I threw them in my Shop My Stash to try to use them up. Today I'm not going to use that. I'm actually going to use a brand new concealer to my collection. I've actually used this over the weekend for the first time. Well, today I'll be filming an ultra haul video, which is probably up already, so I'll link it in the cards in case you missed it. But we have the Lancome Teint Idole Ultra Wear All Over Concealer. I picked mine up in the shade 460 Cookie, and I'm not sure. I'm glad I'm trying this out for a second time again today, because maybe with my usual routine, it'll help me determine whether or not I like this shade. So this is what the packaging of that Lancome concealer looks like. And When I saw this wand, first of all, look at that sponge there. Like, that sponge is humongo, and it's like fat. It's like a nice spongy type sponge. Well, spongy type. It's like a nice spongy type applicator where it actually holds a lot of product there. So hopefully I like this a little bit better today. Let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and apply it the way I normally apply my concealer. And one thing I did notice over the weekend when I did apply this the first time, to me it dried a little bit quickly because it is a more matte concealer. So I'm just going to go ahead and start to blend that out pretty quickly. Taking that bronzing brush because I lost a lot of that product. I'm not going back in with more product. I'm just using whatever's left on the brush to bring that back. And I like to use whatever's left on the sponge from the concealer and just clean up underneath where the bronzer is, just in case I came down a little bit too far. Which I really didn't, but you know, I like to make sure everything is nicely balanced. So with this being the second time that I'm using this concealer, it's not so bad. I just don't think that it gives me as much coverage that I would like, but on a normal day basis going to work, I wouldn't mind this coverage at all. This is like a everyday kind of coverage, but with the Hourglass concealer, it's a real full coverage concealer, so that's what I'm used to looking at. I'm not used to seeing those. So the reason I use two concealers here is obviously they're two different shades completely. So this one I use more as a neutralizing concealer just to cancel out the darkness, and then I use the Fenty concealer to brighten up. This shade here, it doesn't give me the coverage that I usually go for, but we're gonna go, you know, I'm gonna roll with it. I like the way it looks. It looks nice and smooth though. And like I said, it looks like it will be a good everyday concealer kind of situation. Because the coverage is pretty good. Not so much above my mouth though. So I am going to dip into my Hourglass and just dot it a little bit. I've also been using my Maybelline Fit Me Loose powder. I've been using that as my setting powder. From here, I go into one of 3 all over powder foundations. I don't do liquid foundation, which is why I've already applied some powder on my face. I don't do liquid foundation so much in the summertime, especially when I'm going to work, because I just feel like it lasts a little bit better. So I usually go in with the Fenty 420, but that was up until a couple of weeks ago, because this color no longer fits me, guys. So I usually am in the shade 410, and I'll go back to that come fall when I lose my color and everything. Does it make up forever? This one I have the shade Y505, which may also be a little bit too light for me. So I was realizing that these powders were just a little bit too light for me lately, so I went into my drawer and I pulled out this one. This is an oldie but goodie, guys. So this is the Maybelline Super Stay. This is number 362 Truffle. That's my shade, and guys, I'm almost done with it. I actually hit pan on this, and I can only use this shade of powder foundation during these summer months. This is my summer color, so it was perfect for this. So first I want to go in with some of the Wet n Wild Coconut Primer Water and just hydrate my face a little bit. And then just going to take that powder. I'm using the BK Beauty 102 brush. And I'm just going to take that all over. And look, the coverage is so good on this powder that I can use a fluffy. Like, this brush is fluffy. It's not like, I usually use the BK 105, I think it is. They're flat powder brush. I usually use that for powder foundation. When it comes to these, that's my go-to brush. But for this brush, For this color, being that it is a deeper skin tone than my normal skin tone, but I have this tan going on, this is the perfect brush. This is like a perfect brush to apply this. So if you don't want such a concentrated pigmentation coming off of your powders, this is a good brush to have, as opposed to this where I want like maximum coverage. This gives pretty coverage, this gives really good coverage by itself, and it's a drugstore product, guys. So again, the Maybelline Superstay Full Coverage Powder Foundation is bae. But I just love everything from Superstay, honestly. I'm a Superstay kind of girl. To be honest, I'm really not feeling how underneath my eyes look, so I'm probably gonna take this concealer back and get a different shade. I think that's what's throwing me off with the concealer, is the shade itself. So maybe I'll get like a shade down. In the foundation, I wear Suede 510, and like I said, the concealer I picked up 460. So maybe it's just a little bit too far off. So to try to salvage underneath my eyes, I'm gonna take my Pat McGrath powder. What is this? The Sublime Powder Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Blurring Under Eye Powder. I'm just gonna try to blur up underneath here. This one is in the shade Deep. I do have Deep and I have the Banana, but 9 out of 10 times I'm using Deep. And this is something that I do often as well, so I do have this in my Shop My Stash. For bronzer, I told you I've been using either the Morphe or the Becca. Today I'm going to use, let's go ahead with the Morphe one today. I'm going to use that same BK Beauty brush, the 102, and I'm just going back and forth between both the shimmer and the matte side. Even though you don't really see shimmer on your face, it's just like a more like type of sheen. Makes it not a flat matte. And no, I don't switch brushes in the morning. Ain't nobody got time for that. Please, I just washed my brushes. That's why I'm not using a lot of my favorite brushes. My face brushes are pretty much wet over there. Now, when I tell y'all I have used this palette like every day since I showed it to y'all and I Shop My Stash, like so much more of Topaz is missing here. I don't know if you guys can tell from the before that I showed you in the Shop My Stash video. But this time I've been taking a lot of Topaz, then I mix it with the other two too. So I'm trying to get use out of all three of the shades. And what it creates is something that's so pretty. So I've really been enjoying this palette again. And that's pretty much the highlighter that I've been wearing like all the time now. And I don't know if you noticed, I didn't even put concealer down the bridge of my nose or anything. I don't feel like I need to, and I don't want unnecessary product on my face. I told you guys about that, like as far as mixing my SPF and my moisturizer and stuff like that. I just don't want to be piling so much product on my face in the summertime. I'd rather the thinnest layer possible. This has become like almost like a favorites video as well, because what I normally do is go for my Pat McGrath blushes, hands down. I'm still using these. So I have Nude Venus, which I go to pretty often going to work when I want it like just a more neutral, subdued look. And if you haven't seen my video with this, the Pat McGrath, I got what, 7 out of 9 of the blush shades. Definitely check that video out. I swatched them all on my face for you guys. So if you haven't seen that, of course I'll link it in the cards. But that's what Nude Venus is what I go for when I just want like an everyday look. But today I'm going to show you a look that I also do going for work, which is with Electric Bloom. I like to take Electric Bloom on an eyeshadow brush, and when I tell you I put this all over as my lid color, it just looks like a perfect, it's like the perfect one and done kind of shade. I don't need no prep, I don't need no eyeshadow primer, anything like that. It just goes on so seamlessly. So it's like a 2-in-1, because I'm still going to use this as my blush as well. See that? Doesn't that look pretty? And it's so simple to do, guys. Like, it looks like you put like all the effort in, and y'all know I ain't about effort in the morning. It doesn't come up, you know, as pale as this. It looks more like a subtle pinky kind of shade, but I like it. And then if I need to, I can just go back in with the bronzer just to marry everything together. No, you guys, I normally do not wear lashes and liner and all that to work, but being that I'm on camera, I wanted to come back, you know, look a little snazzy. So what I do is actually I spray my face with the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. I always use this, and then I go on top of it with my Dior powder, which is the Dior Face and Body Powder No Powder. This is in the shade 6 Neutral. And I like to go all over my face as a finisher. I use this as a finishing powder, so I like to go all over my face, just make sure everything is nicely blended, nice and seamlessly. And with this powder, you can kind of feel like it's not doing anything. I go in with the powder, like I rub my brush all over there, and usually I can tell that there's product on the brush, so it's doing something, because I do like the way it looks. It doesn't take away any radiance from the skin, but everything just looks nicely blended all over. And y'all know me, I'm all about just that final finishing blend, just to make sure everything is, you know, nice and seamless. Oh, totally forgot my lower lash line because I was messing with the liner. But what I normally do, this is a step that I do in the car while I'm waiting for the kids' camp bus to come up, to pull up, and that's my Essence lash liner. And then for my lower lashes, I use the Merit Beauty, I'm not sure of the name of this one. Definitely check out the video that I did featuring the Merit Beauty products. They have sent over a couple of products, and this is one of the products that I've definitely been using on my lower lashes. I've been definitely using since that video. So I'm just going to take my primer. The thing about this primer is you got to give it some time to dry. I meant to then do this and prime and do my mascara. Totally forgot. But you definitely have to allow this primer some time to dry. It's funny because when I'm like really doing my makeup for work and I'm not filming, usually what I do is I'll prime my eyes, do my eyebrows, then come back to my mascara, then set my brows. Like I have like a whole system just to, you know, work better with timing. It's all about time management, yeah. So I have to let this lash primer dry. I think my face is pretty much done. And for my lips, I normally don't really do anything for my lips. I put on like a lip balm or a lip gloss going to work, but I actually have some new lip products that I'm going to be testing out, so I might as well, with the pink, it actually goes. So I'm actually going to go film that video, and then I'll be back with the finished look with the lower mascara, my earrings and everything. So give me a second, guys, I'll be right back. Alright guys, so I am back with the finished look. I did a little bit more extra than I would do going to work, but I just want to let you guys know, in the inner tear duct, I did use the rose gold highlight from this palette, and I went ahead and put that into my inner tear duct corner just to brighten. But again, the eyes is just nothing but this Pat McGrath blush. I love that little trick. It blends so easy with the cheek product, and it just seems that the cheek blush is always the first thing to fade away from your makeup look. So don't be scared to pile it on. Like I don't mind leaving my house looking like a clown, because then I know by the time that I actually halfway through the day it'll be gone and everything just looks really nice and pretty. I just love it. Oh, if you're curious about the lip, I actually have on Maybelline Superstay. I went ahead and I picked up 6 more shades. I have a lot of these in my collection. I wanted to find a beautiful pink in this formula, so I went ahead and I swatched these 6 Maybelline lipsticks for you guys. So if that video is up already, I'll go ahead and link it in the card so you guys can check it out. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. That helps me out greatly, and it lets other people know that they should be watching this video as well. If this is your first time here on the KSquad channel, I'm going to leave some videos here on the screen for you guys. Or if you want to binge watch me, check out the playlist, see what I'm all about, and then at that point you can decide if you want to subscribe to the channel. I hope that you will. I hope to catch each and every one of you on the next video. Until next time, y'all, stay blessed.